The echoes of laughter still reverberate in my mind, ricocheting off the polished marble of my firm's grand entrance like sharp, relentless volleys. It wasn't the mirth of strangers but the cruel chuckles of colleagues, invited guests, and those I once called friends. Their fingers pointed, their faces twisted in mockery, their whispers cutting through the air with a single piercing phrase. What a weak, spineless husband. And there, in the midst of it all, stood my wife, my companion of 12 years, arm in arm with her boss, their entrance choreographed for maximum impact. Their kiss, bold and unapologetic, unfolded before the crowd, a calculated display of defiance. It was the night of my triumph, my name etched into the stone behind me. Yet she chose that moment to press an envelope into my hand. Your first task as a lawyer, she said, her voice laced with malice, is to handle your own divorce. Make it quick and disappear. Her boss, Alexander Kane, the man I'd supported with millions, leaned in with a victor's smirk. Do us both a favor and don't drag this out, he said. I didn't argue or beg. I didn't even blink. I took the envelope, tucked it into my jacket, and walked away, calm, composed, unshaken. They thought they'd shattered me. What they didn't realize was that my silence was a blade, honed and ready. 12 years. That's how long I'd woven a life with her. From the tiny one-bedroom apartment where we shared instant noodles on the floor to the late nights I spent crafting contracts while she dozed against my shoulder. She was there when I scraped together $100 to buy my first law books. And she was there when I earned my first $1 million. I believed she was my partner, my ally. But while I built, she watched, waited, and schemed. Every business trip she claimed was unavoidable, every late-night meeting with her boss. I overlooked the signs, trusting her completely. That trust became the weapon that sliced deepest. The truth unraveled in the most brutal way, a public spectacle designed to strip me bare on the night meant to celebrate my success. No hidden messages or quiet confessions. Just a brazen betrayal, staged for all to see, meant to rob me of dignity in front of those who'd ever questioned me. As their laughter filled the air, something shifted within me. Not rage or sorrow, but a cold, calculated clarity. That night I didn't go home. I didn't drown my pain in a bottle or seek solace in a phone call. Instead, I opened my laptop and accessed accounts I hadn't touched in years, beginning to unravel the threads of their deception. Alexander Kane wasn't just her boss. He was the CEO of the tech company I'd poured $90 million into, quietly without fanfare. He never bothered to know his investors, believing himself invincible. But every trip she took with him, every lavish expense, spa memberships, flights, hotel suites, it all flowed through my accounts. That night, with a few precise clicks, I severed the lifelines of their affair. I canceled her credit cards, froze her accounts, revoked her power of attorney, and cut her access to the homes, cars, and luxuries she flaunted online. I left her with only the bare necessities, executing a silent, surgical purge. Then came the decisive blow. I withdrew my entire $90 million stake from Kane's company. One click, and his empire began to crumble. He'd used my investment as leverage for his expansion, and without it, his foundation collapsed. My phone soon buzzed with notifications. One missed call, then 10, then 20. By morning, 124 calls flooded in. Her number, his, mutual friends, business associates. By midday, panic rippled through their world. His company's stock nosedived, investors demanded explanations, and creditors swooped in like scavengers. She called, not to express regret, but to plead. The house was locked, her accounts inaccessible, her car repossessed before she could process the loss. I didn't pick up. Silence speaks louder than fury. It wasn't her who appeared at my door, it was Kane. The man who'd kissed my wife in front of me now stood in my doorway, his pristine suit rumpled, his confidence fractured. You can't do this, he growled, his voice unsteady. We had an agreement. I stepped aside, revealing a stack of unopened envelopes on my table. Hers, all of them. No, I said calmly. We had a partnership. You shattered it when you tried to humiliate me. His jaw tightened. His company was hemorrhaging, and he knew I held the blade. She'll leave you with nothing, he spat, but the words lacked conviction. I leaned closer, my voice low and sharp. She already tried. You followed her into the flames. The difference is I was prepared. You weren't. For the first time in all the years I'd known him, Alexander Kane was speechless. He left in silence, just as I had left the party. But while I walked away with control, he left with nothing but ruin. By week's end, my firm was flourishing, while his company scrambled for emergency restructuring. His board removed him, his once untouchable name now tarnished in headlines. And her. She fell from penthouses to frantic texts, from glittering jewelry to desperation, from mocking laughter to a silence of her own making. I sat alone in my office, the same place where she once brought me coffee at midnight as I pored over case law. I set the divorce envelope she'd given me on the desk, still sealed, a monument to her hubris. There was no rush to finalize it. Let her wait. Let her wonder. Let her feel the void she tried to force upon me. Justice isn't loud or chaotic. It's meticulous, exact, leaving no trace on me but branding them forever. I don't hate her, nor do I love her. I simply see her for what she is. Betrayal carries a heavy price, and she paid it in full. The world may recall the night she tried to break me. I'll remember the silence that followed, the silence that dismantled them.